Okay, so I had it posted when I posted my putting people on drugs, or we can't even keep drugs out of prison. I did a video, my last video on that, and somebody had pointed out, and I had seen this argument coming, and the suggestion was, or the argument was, well, it keeps them away from, it separates them from the rest of society. Which I think is, I agree, sure, that's fantastic. And the person that made the comment wasn't for this either, but they were saying that's the argument you're going to hear. And I do recognize that. So let's look at that briefly. So the goal then, at that point, isn't necessarily to rehabilitate them for this argument. It's to separate them from doing harm to society and keeping them away from, segregating them away from the rest of society so that they do less harm. So let's take a look at that to see if putting them in prison is doing that. So we have a majority or a large population of prison inmates in there for drug abuse, drug charges of some form or another. Has putting them in prison reduced harm to society? Has segregating them and putting them in prison reduced the amount of users, reduced the amount of suffering, and reduced the amount of deaths caused by drugs in whatever form, some sort of abuse or trafficking or just use? And I'm going to have to say it's made it worse. If you're actually arguing for the point, or from the point, of removing drug users, abusers, however you want to put it, removing them from society and segregating them and putting them in prison, where your argument is, well, that's fine, they can do drugs in prison as long as they're not around everybody else. Has that strategy helped or hindered? And I'm just going to go by, say, the example of thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Mexico being murdered because of drug cartels' influence and violence. That hasn't been helped. Is there less drug use today in America than there was? Absolutely not. So I understand that argument, and I would agree perfectly well. I would totally be behind it if it actually reduced harm, whatever harm can come from using a drug. I understand drug cartels can be violent and do shitty things to people, but the prison system, the judicial system, the justice system is none of those, and it's not working. So even if you had that argument where it segregates the drug users from society to reduce harm, it still does the exact opposite. So even from that argument, it fails. I just thought I would spout what's going on in my head. Peace.